Imagine a peaceful Alaskan village suddenly turned into a nightmare of swirling winds and rising waters. Lives lost, homes swept away, and communities left in ruins. This isn't just a story. It's the harsh reality unfolding in western Alaska, following the devastating aftermath of Typhoon Halong's remnants. Tragically, one person has perished, and 2 others are still unaccounted for, while over 50 individuals and even 2 dogs were heroically rescued from rooftops and flooded areas. But here's where it gets controversial. As we delve into the details, questions arise about how much of this disaster stems from natural forces versus human-influenced climate shifts, and whether our leaders are doing enough to protect vulnerable regions. Stick around, because this is the part most people miss: the deeper implications for communities already grappling with a changing world. On October 14, 2025, authorities reported a grim toll after hurricane-strength winds and massive storm surges unleashed by the fading Typhoon Halong battered the region over the weekend. The flooding was so ferocious that it literally tore homes from their foundations in places like Kipnuk and Kwigillingok, leaving what a U.S. Coast Guard official, Captain Christopher Culpepper, aptly described as absolute devastation. To put this in perspective for beginners, typhoon remnants are the leftover energy from a tropical storm that originated elsewhere, often in the Pacific, and can retain enough power to wreak havoc thousands of miles away, especially when they collide with local weather patterns. In this case, the storm system pummeled these low-lying coastal communities, causing not just immediate flooding, but also long-term challenges that officials warn could stretch into the harsh Alaskan winter. The Alaska State Troopers, along with other agencies, sprang into action with boat and air-based searches for the missing individuals. They even dispatched a helicopter from Fairbanks to deliver essential supplies like generators and fuel, ensuring these isolated villages could begin rebuilding. Interestingly, early reports suggested possible missing persons in Kipnuk, but by late Monday, troopers confirmed that everyone there was safe, a relief amidst the chaos. The National Weather Service noted significant storm surges in both areas, which are essentially giant waves pushed inland by strong winds, often exacerbating flooding in flat terrains like the shores of Kuskokwim Bay. As the storm raged, residents showed incredible resilience. Many took refuge in local schools, a common emergency plan in remote areas where infrastructure is sparse. But the impacts went far beyond the immediate danger. Power outages left people in the dark. Running water became scarce in some homes, and freezers full of subsistence foods, think hunted meats and caught fish, crucial for survival in Alaska's long winters, were ruined. Damage to heating stoves is particularly worrying, as these communities rely heavily on stored food to endure the freezing months ahead. Imagine trying to make it through sub-zero temperatures without reliable heat or preserved provisions. It's a real threat that could prolong the suffering. Personal accounts bring the human side of this tragedy to life. Jamie Jenkins, a 42-year-old resident of the nearby hard-hit village of Napakiak, called it the worst storm I've ever seen. She recounted howling winds and waters rising so quickly on Sunday morning that her family and neighbors had to evacuate by boat to the school. Her mother's home even shifted on its foundation, a scary reminder of how unstable the ground can become during such events. Jenkins shared how the men in the community organized rescue efforts, going door-to-door with boats to ensure no one was left behind, a testament to the tight-knit spirit in these areas. Meanwhile, in Kotlik, Adeline Pete described winds so fierce she'd never experienced anything like them before. While an unoccupied house nearby flipped over, her family stayed safe at home, highlighting how unpredictable these storms can be. Now, for the contentious part. The conversation turned to climate resilience when Alaska Governor Mike Dunleavy hosted a news conference with U.S. Senators Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan. They vowed to push for funds to bolster infrastructure against future disasters, emphasizing that such investments are vital for regions facing increasing threats. But here's the flip side that sparks debate, is the recent decision by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, to scrap a key disaster mitigation program currently under court challenge. A short-sighted move? Critics argue it leaves communities like these exposed, while supporters might say reallocation is necessary for efficiency. Murkowski pointed out that erosion mitigation projects, think protective barriers against rising seas and eroding land, take time but are urgently needed as storms seem to hit more frequently and with greater intensity. For beginners, erosion here refers to the gradual wearing away of land, often accelerated by climate change factors like warming oceans and melting permafrost, which destabilizes Alaskan soil. Kwigillingok, a predominantly Alaska native village of about 380 people on the western shore of Kuskokwim Bay, exemplifies these risks. A 2022 report by the Alaska Institute for Justice, commissioned by the local tribe, highlighted how flooding in this low-lying area has worsened in recent years, calling for urgent relocation. Broader issues like melting permafrost, the frozen ground thawing due to rising temperatures, threaten infrastructure across Alaska, potentially swallowing roads and buildings. This ties directly into climate change, where human activities like fossil fuel emissions are widely believed to be amplifying these extremes. Yet, some debate whether attributing every storm to climate change oversimplifies complex weather patterns, or if it's a wake-up call for global action. What do you think? Is this disaster a natural event amplified by climate change, or a sign that we need bolder policies to protect remote communities? Should federal funds prioritize disaster prevention over other priorities? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with the senator's push for resilience, or see it as insufficient? Let's discuss and learn from this together.